3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this Tuesday installment of We Talk. I'm Yolanda Nell, and I will be your host for today. On Tuesdays, we are doing business, and we will be heading to the Scientific Society of Namibia, who recently had an informative talk on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And can you believe it? There are 3 traders in Namibia already registered. But more on that a little bit later. First up, we have the news. In today's news segment, we will be taking a look at the issues currently in the spotlight at the City of Windhoek, and that includes their finance situation. After that, we will be taking a look at copper theft and the trains that derailed in Utavi.
14 active staff members, and the Chief of City of Windhoek Police claims that there are further 193 vacancies presently for further effectiveness. In other words, he would like to employ another 193 employees. Salaries budgeted for this new financial year 2022-23 for City Police are 230 million, and that's about 90% of its entire cost structure. City Police collects about 19 million of income, which is mainly traffic fines, and there's a 8.5 million contribution from the RFA. Fact is again that with all commendable actions by City Police, and I've myself caught them a couple of times when there was noise pollution in particular neighborhoods, and their action time was fantastic, and the turnaround time, that City of Windhoek Police, together with NAMPOL, that we do have a duplication of services. And it needs to be reviewed according to us. We need to have a look at it, because we cannot afford a City of Windhoek police force of 230 million in our current financial predicament that we are in. It's simply, unfortunately, not affordable. So we need to look where we can align with NAMPOL and do those corrections or whatever in dollars. 2.8 billion, which is 2,800 million. If you, and we obviously are always lagging behind. So the last official financial statements which were publicized and discussed and had been audited was for the year 30th of June 2020. I have obtained a copy last week of the draft financials of the following year, which is June 2021. And I've got very bad news in that I have to report that City of Windhoek incurred another loss of $480 million for the previous financial year ending June 2021. So this brings the cumulative loss to 3.2 billion. So City of Windhoek has incurred over the past 10 years a loss of 3.2 billion. Now, if we would have only managed to create a break even, then, and you assume that maybe a good, proper, solid 2-bedroom house in Hans Street, Genscher Street cost you 500,000, then 6,400 houses could have been built with that 3.2 billion loss. If you maybe assume that 1 kilometer of tar road costs you 1 million, then 3,200 kilometers of tar road could have been created, could have been tarred in City of Windhoek. And in our And then in our southwestern suburbs, where we still got gravel road of very poor quality and dust and everything associated with it, you know, we could have uplifted these southwestern suburbs to a great extent.
Last week, members of Nampol shot a man who tried to flee after he was caught trying to steal copper wiring in the La Friends industrial area in the capital. Last week Friday, one of 7 was caught while the others ran away when they were found with a shopping trolley full of copper wiring. According to police spokesman Warren Silia Shapandeni, 70 such cases have been reported in the Khomas region alone so far this year. StartUp Namibia offers amnesty to anyone who hands in copper before the 31st of August in an effort to get the community to help combat this crime. The photos courtesy of Nampol. At least 9 of the 13 tankers full of sulfuric acid that derailed between Utavi and Ojivarungu last week were leaking. This means that 45,000 litres of sulfuric acid, about 45 tons in each of these wagons, spilled into the environment. According to Quinton Galloway, manager of protection services at Dundee Precious Metals in Tsumeb, who is in charge of cleanup work at the accident scene, is not yet certain how much content the other 5 wagons had lost, since it has not been salvaged. Galloway explained that contamination ponds were built around the spilled sulfuric acid and were filled with marble dust to neutralize the acid.
How we as a country would embrace cryptocurrency, then it comes into play, or one person wants to have regard to that in terms of financial inclusion. Because you're then thinking, imagine if all of us here, say in this room, had embraced cryptocurrencies, what assurances do we have, or how much of that can we use in sourcing local products and services? Especially from the perspective or realization that most local entities, at least as far as we have seen, have not come out to openly say that they accept cryptocurrencies as a form of payment. So it cuts both ways. There are so many angles of looking at it, but conventional wisdom suggests that most of the products and services that we consume are sourced locally. So you want to then ask yourself, does the local business community or local service providers, are they open for it? Have they genuinely understood, appreciated, and accepted cryptocurrency as a form of value? Those are all perhaps issues that we'll discuss, I would imagine, at the end of this engagement. And then the impact of those pros or factors which have largely led to the growth in the use and acceptance of cryptocurrencies is obviously increased use of cryptocurrencies. The second bullet point is what I've explained earlier around the percentage of potential users of cryptocurrencies. And then for me, what's important on this last slide is the third one, the growing acceptance of cryptocurrency around the world. We probably want to ask ourselves as a country, are we ready to embrace the use of cryptocurrencies? If not, when will we be ready? And if we are not ready, what are the mechanisms or what are the steps that we as a nation need to take to get to that level? The whole world is moving in that space. As things stand now, whether I want it, whether I like it or not, chances are that people who are having access to cryptocurrency are moving money, or not necessarily money, but value in and out of our country. So the the thought-provoking question today is perhaps to get us to interrogate our readiness to embrace this growing trend globally. And as the FIC, we have started registering cryptocurrencies for supervision purposes in as far as combating money laundering and terrorism financing risks are concerned. This does not equate to prudential regulation or prudential supervision. So on the prudential regulation and supervision leg, what ideally should be happening is that similar to the mechanisms that are in place for one to open a bank or start a commence insurance service, the provision of insurance services and so forth, you ought to ideally go through a licensing mechanism that looks at your ability to duly deliver this service, fitness and probity of your beneficial owners, members, shareholders or directors, and so many other requirements. What we have done in the FIC, in terms of our law, is realizing that because as a country, despite us not yet having reached a level where our legal framework has appetite for prudentially licensing or regulating cryptocurrencies, we realize that nothing stops criminals from abusing cryptocurrencies. So, at a bare minimum, what we can do as regulators is to at least get into that space and register those who are availing services locally, and if they are based in a foreign jurisdiction, only if they meet certain requirements, such as, for example, the primary promotion or marketing campaigns that targets Namibians as core clients. So essentially what we are saying is the Bank of Namibia as an institution, along with NAMFISA and other bodies, are working on creating a framework that will create an avenue for us to duly license those who are in the space of availing crypto-related services. But until such time, and given the fact that you will not necessarily stop criminals from abusing these noble platforms, what we are able to do with the Financial Intelligence Act is to register those who are providing services and get them to comply with the law, thereby helping us mitigate risks of potential money laundering, terrorist financing, and all of these scams that we have going on. So the information we are sharing here is merely to say that the first cryptocurrency operator or dealer locally registered with us in 2018. And to date, we have 3 of them registered with us. And in terms of the actual revenues or values that they have moved to date, we have estimated that figure to be around 40 million, give or take. Most of it can be attributed to the institution that has been registered with the FIC since 2018, while the ones registered with the FIC in 2021 and 2022 are relatively new. So it's very difficult. That 40 million does not necessarily suggest that it's a reliable estimate of the market size of cryptocurrencies locally, because that figure is only limited to those who are registered with the FIC and the information at our disposal. So also worth noting is that as the FIC, we are aware that there are many cryptocurrency dealers, agents or operators out there. Some of them perhaps startups that are advertising or sourcing business locally from people to join, subscribe, or make use of their services. The law places an obligation on such institutions or such persons to register with the FIC.
StartUp Namibia is calling for all entrepreneurs for the Access to Power program that is currently open. Applicants must be above the age of 18, entrepreneurs with innovative solutions that enable the productive use of energy, especially for rural energy users. Entrepreneurs with access to internet facilities who can commit to completing the pre-incubation program and building their business ideas further in their add-on design thinking program. Entrepreneurs who are willing to pay a commitment fee of 300 Namibian dollars after receiving acceptance into the program have until the 29th of July to enter. It should be noted that all pre-incubation programs at StartUp Namibia is valued at 10,000 Namibian dollar per startup. The Access to Power program is proudly sponsored by Basecamp in partnership with the Green People's Energy in Namibia. Now, a little bit more of the Green People's Energy. They aim to improve the conditions for decentralized energy supply in rural areas, primarily involving citizens and businesses. To this end, they are working in 9 countries in sub-Saharan Africa. In Namibia, Green People's Energy promotes the access and use of renewable energy for the population in rural areas. The initiative provides advisory services to actors at different levels. At the policy level, GBE advises decision makers on how to improve the framework conditions for an expansion of decentralized renewable energies. In order to improve the quality of installation and maintenance of RE systems in rural areas, the training offer for specialists from local companies is being expanded. Rural potential productive users of RE, such as small and micro enterprises and social institutions, will be supported in meeting their energy needs with a solar system. Solar companies will be incentivized through a results-based financing mechanism to expand their distribution structures into rural areas. Only 53% of the population has access to electricity, of which 77% of Namibia's urban inhabitants benefits from this, but only 29% of it is rural inhabitants. Even where the grid is available, 30 to 40% of households do not have access to electricity. Namibia could cover a large part of its electricity needs from the production of solar and wind power instead of importing electricity from abroad. For today's life hack, if you have small pets like rabbits and hamsters, put a frozen bottle of water in their cage, especially in the summer months, that they can lean against because it gets hot for them too. Next up, Jeanette Diergaard for your Flex Minute.
Bookings for Namibia Tourism Expo 2022 are open. The expo will take place from 3 to 5 November 2022 in Windhoek. To secure your booking, visit nte.nmh.com.na, and for more information on the expo, follow all Namibia Media Holdings platforms. The expo is supported by the Ministry of Environment, Tourism and Forestry, Namibia Tourism Board, FENATA, City of Windhoek, and Namibia Media Holdings. Namibia Tourism Expo, taking tourism to the regions.
Hi everybody and welcome back to Flex. I'm Jeanette Diergaard, your presenter for Flex. Now today we are focusing on lower back stretches that will help you when you have lower back pains. Okay, so we're going to do a piriformis stretch. Now, I always called it a figure 4 stretch because you're literally making your legs in a figure 4 shape. So you bring one leg up, you flex that foot. So you will feel this in your glutes and in your hamstrings as well. But this is meant for that lower back pain stretch. Now what this does is it stretches a muscle deep in your buttocks called a piriformis muscle. So that one is just going to help you there. And now we're going to do a seated spinal twist. So you have one leg bent, the other leg out, and you stretch it. So you will feel this one in your lower back, and you'll also feel it in your shoulders. Let's do the other side real quick as well. So you have your one leg bent, one out in front of you, and you lock your elbow with your knee, and you twist that into your spine. Okay, so it's also going to stretch out that oblique muscles and your lower back. Again, if the pain continues, please go see a doctor. That is it from me. I'll see you next time.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, welcome to another exciting edition.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is all from my side for today. We will be back again, same place, same time tomorrow with a brand new interview and a recommendation. Goodbye.